Yay. Okay, cool. So it's just way too often that I'll meet somebody and they have not either heard of the four agreements or not super familiar with them. And they always bear repeating. I love these. It's a book by Miguel Miguel Ruiz. I read the book for the first time in, I want to say like 4 hours. It's a very quick read and it's life changing. Okay. So, four agreements. We're going to suss them out, but I'm going to read them and then we'll do that. First, be impeccable with your word. It's so funny. It looks like I wrote spank. It says speak with integrity. Spank with integrity, too. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak out against self or others in your head or not in your head. So that includes negative self talk. That's what I thought about. Avoid using the word to speak out against self or others. Use the power of the word for two things: love, expressing love, and truth. Nombre dos es don't take anything personally. Now, this is a huge one. Nothing others do is because of you. No, nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their dream, is what Miguel Ruiz calls it, but of their own reality. How someone treats you is 100% um, a direct kind of insight of how they feel about themselves. Perfect example is like, I don't drive anymore, but I used to drive. Like when people would like flick me off, I'd be like, wow, that guy must be so mad. Hey, Angela. 8 a.m. Yeah, we always have to know what time it is. What's up, Spellbound Bear? LA, it's 11:06 on Thursday. Oh, you're Friday, 8 a.m. We're reading the four agreements and we're on the second one. So don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality or dream. Um, I was writing with one pen that was like, first of all, it was freaking me out because it was like sticky. And I was like, I just want to get this done and then I can wash my hands. And it was also a Sharpie, so I was like writing it weird. Okay. Needless suffering. Okay, so a lot of and a short amount of space. A lot of needless suffering will be cut out if we train our brains and ourselves not to take what other people uh, say and do personally. This is not just the bad, by the way. This is the good too. I remember learning about this and being like, so when people come up to me after like a class, which I think I like killed it, right? I taught a really great class. The funniest thing was when people would always come up, I'd be like, I know they're gonna like thank me or something, and like, what was that song you played? Like three or like I don't know. It was like when we were doing Warrior 2. I don't know. I just push like shuffle on my thing. I have no clue. No, I'm just kidding. But mostly people ask for songs. A lot of times people will be nice. But the point is when people did come up and say, Ashley, that was an amazing class. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I feel so good. Or you're the best teacher. That was like the one thing that I went through with one of my mentors. Because this was a perfect example. Like, oh my God, I love your class. Like, you're so amazing. You're the best teacher. It's like, no, you're doing really good in your life right now. And like yoga is like I don't create, I add my little personality to what we're doing and stuff like that, but yoga sells itself when done and taught correctly, right? um okay, let's not get too off track here, but oh yeah, I just wrap that up. So when people are very kind to you, that's also a projection of how they're feeling, right? Or them. I think the ideal, like where we should all try to be, is content, honest, and then there doesn't leave much room for any of the stuff that comes from not being honest, not being impeccable with your word, and taking things personally. Habibtis, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions. Stop. Find the courage to come here. Find the courage to ask questions and express. Come here. I wasn't talking to you. Find the courage to ask. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and they were just like sleeping, and now all of a sudden, right? And ask questions. Express what you really want to communicate with others as clearly as you can and avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. Just this one agreement can transform your life. The 4th is always do your best. Just let him. Ozzy's like, it's funny. Always do your best. So that's going to change. Like, I used to think of, I guess the easiest analogy is always going to be yoga teaching. When I'm with less energy or not feeling well, best that I can with the circumstances that I'm working with, health-wise, physical-wise, mental-wise. That's why it's important to keep all of those at the most optimal that we can. Your best is different when you were ill than when you were sick. Just get up there for 1 second. Thank you. Your best changes moment to moment. That's another, this is a lot of the information that I share here. I don't want to say chicken, for lack of a better word, chicken or egg, but they all circle around like the keeping your internal circumstances clean. What made me have that segue? Keeps you honest. You know where you're at, right? The best thing I remembered about like when people that lie a lot, like think about there was Waze. I see it's called Waze, like a navigation system. So you're never going to get where you want in life if you lie. Because think about it, if this is a perfect analogy. If you put a Waze, it's 11:11. Make a wish. If you put if you put the wrong address or the wrong destination into Waze, you're not going to get to where you're going or where you want to go, whether you're a good person or not. But oh yeah, I think I did already the analogy about like teaching a yoga class, like not pushing because that borders on. I used to talk about this all the time in class. So teaching a bunch of people. So I'm doing my best as a teacher. Hopefully, my health is good, my brain is on point, and I'm working with the best circumstances, right? Because I sustain those every day. But like talking about this stuff in class, like you guys do the best you can for today, pushing further than what is appropriate for your physical body today, when we're getting into the physical part of yoga, is not appropriate. And that's also not doing the best you can. That's called abusing yourself. Okay? Being honest with the circumstances, with where you're at, be it on the yoga mat, at the grocery store, at the, whatever, at your job, and doing the best you can with what you've got, always being honest with yourself is the point, is the goal, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I used to talk about that a lot. Like, don't push past physical or mental or emotional stuff. Okay, maybe let's find another situation at work. Like, I know that it's a funny culture and workaholism is kind of celebrated in this sick way. But for example, somebody who's like a workaholic, they might be celebrated for pushing themselves. And I don't know why law firms coming up. So a guy that's wanting to make partner, so he's working like 100-hour weeks and he's not sleeping, so he makes partner. But at what price? Like that's 6 months of abusing his body, abusing his probably supports. You know what I mean? Like it all ends up catching up. So the balance is really imperative the whole time. The journey is the destination. This is life. Okay, so just to recap. 1, be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak out against yourself, either in your head or otherwise, or others. Use the power of your word for either the truth, to express truth, love. I remember I had a situation where I had this like really inspirational, I was on a beach somewhere. I was at this really inspirational like thing and I wrote um I always forget this. Contrast, self versus non-self equals contrast. And that was just the beginning of this whole thing. I wrote like, I don't know, I wrote a lot that day. But I was like, basically, we shouldn't speak. The only time we should speak, this has to do with the first agreement, being impeccable with your word. The only time we should speak to each other is to express love to one another, to say kind things or support or help or to gain clarification. Did I understand this correctly? And then accordingly. Like there's too much of this. And I think I don't remember what study it was, but one of my first yoga teachers told me, do you know how most people expend 70% of their energy like this. Talking, mostly bullshit, things that are not true, conjecture. Um, Number 2, don't take anything personally. Nothing others. You have to be responsible at your like be accountable for what comes out of your fucking mouth. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. Think about how many times I can think about how many times people have taken things personally and I'm just like, "Whoa." And it sucks, but there's nothing I can do about it, you know? Things happen. People lose their phones, people lose their cars, people lose people. I mean, like, never ever assume that you're the reason why something isn't happening or someone isn't communicating with you or whatever. You know what I mean? What others say and do is because, yeah, what others say and do is a projection of their own stuff. Needless suffering. So much needless suffering is eliminated by simply understanding and training your brain not to jump to the conclusion that it must be me. That is the reason why the guy didn't call me back or the job doesn't want me or blah, 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 blah. It's 99.9% of the time, not anything to do with you. The guy whose job you wanted was sleeping with this other guy's something, and so that had to happen. I just made that up. Okay, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want to communicate with others as clearly as you can. And I almost said, and don't make assumptions. Like a lot of times we go through life, and depending on the person, like if it's somebody that I just like a pleasantry. I'm not gonna be like, I'm sorry, did you say have a good day or good day, dear? You know what I mean? Like, but ask clarifications about almost everything else. Anything certainly that's like of substance, like a substantial conversation. Okay, I'll be with you in 1 second. Give me 3 minutes, okay? Um, Avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. So this one just by itself, Miguel Ruiz says is life transforming. So rough, man. Okay, always do your best. Your best changes moment to moment. Your best is different when you're ill versus when you're sick. So be honest with where you're at. You know, don't push. That's not doing your best. That's called self-harm. Any circumstances, just do the best for you and be honest with what you're working with. Shalom. I'm an Uber driver. I haven't had a car or driven. I mean, I've driven here and there, but I haven't had a car since 2017. So no, I'm not an Uber driver. Hmm. Yes, and I need to like remind myself of this too. But we all go through different periods of time where, you know, we can be more sensitive and stuff like this. But this is to be remembered. It's a book You can get it. I prefer any vendor or salesperson besides Amazon because I just don't think they need any more money. And I heard they're really not nice to their employees. And I hope you guys are really good. And I'll be back later. Um, cool. Love you guys. Had anyone not heard of the four agreements before today? Was it and Spellbound Bear, had you heard of them before today? They're really simple and just really like they're just logical. And we had 11/11 together. I hope everyone made nice wishes. I made wishes for you guys, but I can't tell you what they are because then they won't come true. Oh, cool. So the four agreements. I hope that I did a good job with this video, but you can also look them up. Like it was very easy for me. I mean, I know them, but I wanted to read verbatim what he wrote. And so I found like this meme. There's so many. Let's see. But the book is little and it's worth it. It's an excellent book to have in your library. Okay? Bye guys. For agreements. For agreements. Does anyone know how to do the Charleston? They're redoing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. My friend's like, "Actually, stop. You just always look like you're having a seizure." All right, we'll be back. Bye. I think I do.